Hi, I'm Drsallybell, and today we're going to be looking at gut health, our gut bacteria, and why what we eat and where our food comes from is important. So the gut microbiome or microbiota might be a new term for you, but it's a term used in reference to the bacteria that we have in our large bowel. Now, certainly when I trained in the 90s, we knew nothing about why we had that bacteria or what it was doing. And certainly I've grown up in a time where bacteria has probably been seen as a negative thing. However, our gut bacteria are a whole host, a whole colony that live within us. And actually, we are more bacteria than we are human. And this host of bacteria does loads of roles that we are learning about. Like, the evidence is so exciting and the research is just exponential. Every month there's new research showing us the importance of our gut bacteria. And it's involved in everything from cholesterol and blood pressure control to balancing your hormones, to making and moderating your happy hormones that impact mental health. The list goes on and on. Now, you may have heard of another term called gut dysbiosis. This is when we lose this kind of robust, diverse colony, and that community is impacted and diminished. And we now understand that when this happens, it's associated with so many diseases. Again, everything from autism and ADHD to Alzheimer's, through to cardiovascular health and diabetes and even obesity. And so it's really important that we support a diverse and robust colony of bacteria in our gut. And the thing is, they love to eat, just as we do. And so when it comes to looking at what we're eating, we need to think about not only nourishing our own bodies, but also supporting and nourishing our gut bacteria. Now, I talk about the 5 foundations to health, being sleep, movement, rest, nutrition, and connection. And so before we just take a moment to talk about the nutrition piece, about what we should be eating and where our food comes from, let me first mention that we need to see this within the wider context, because we know that our chronic problem with stress that we have as a nation, our chronic problem with sleep deprivation, our disconnection and loneliness is actually having an impact as well on our gut health, on our gut microbiota. So we need to think wider when we're looking at nourishing and nurturing our gut bacteria and our gut health. However, when you look at nutrition, the evidence is overwhelming. Our Western diet, high in sugar, inflammatory fats, high in refined carbohydrates, high in highly processed food, is diminishing our gut bacteria and in turn having a significant and devastating impact on our gut health. But the good news is that we know that if we change what we eat, we can actually within days have a significant impact of improving that diversity and the robustness of our gut bacteria. And this is why it's again so important to be focusing on what we eat. And the big key messages are this: it's about whole food. It's about getting away from those highly processed foods. It is about a diverse amount of plants in our diet, having a plant slant, regardless of where you sit on the vegan or paleo or omnivore movement and those nutritional wars. What is important? It is whole food, having that plant slant and having a diverse diet. I talk about eating the rainbow with my children and with my clients to help them embrace and think about eating a more diverse diet. And we know that as we adopt this way of eating, it has a significant impact on our colony of bacteria and subsequently our health. Now, we also need to ask a question about where our food is coming from. And we now are starting to understand with a growing body of research and evidence that actually the agrochemicals that we're using in our food and in our farming are having a significant impact also on our gut microbiome. And so it comes back again to soil health. Like, when we start looking after our soil, when we start getting away from intensive farming, when we start allowing the soil's microbiome, the bacteria and fungi and viruses viruses that's needed to support diversity in our agriculture, when we start looking after that, it then has subsequent knock-on effects by impacting our own gut microbiome. And it just comes back again, how when we look after soil, how it impacts not only planetary health, but how it impacts our own health. So I hope that's been interesting for you today. Do come back with your questions, thoughts or ideas, and I'll get back to you another time. Thank you.